All right, hey, good morning, Snow. And welcome to another day. Gonna get this thing started. Uh, and then we're gonna do the last chapter in Luke. Um, yeah, got dogs taken care of this morning. All that. That's doing good. Got golden retriever mom all bred yesterday. Hopefully, in about 30 days or so, we can do an ultrasound and see what's in there. And yeah, moving right along. And then as far as dogs, I'm waiting. See, waiting for two or three other moms to go into heat here. One could be any time now, but yeah, hopefully three of them over the next month or so will go into heat. Um, and yeah, people, I think get it a little wrong. I don't know sometimes. So like, um, I don't know if it's just the way that I do things out here or what. So I'm sure it's different if you're looking at some type of like, you know, um, breeding situation where like, dogs aren't hardly ever around people or whatever. But our, you know, mom dogs, especially, um, it's almost, it's almost like they, you know, enjoy being pregnant, enjoy that, thing. It's kind of, I don't know. Um, it's yeah, it's almost like you can sense that they, you know, like being pregnant and all that kind of stuff. And it may, I mean, who knows? Maybe it's due. Maybe they know like, oh, I'm gonna go stay, in the nursery and all that, for the next couple months, and that's why they enjoy it. I don't know, but they're all really good um, as far as um, taking care of puppies and all that kind of stuff. I mean, just really amazing. Um, yeah. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see how all that goes. I mean, it's uh, there's a lot of jobs where you can, control how much product or how much, product or uh, whatever that you are, able to produce. And, um, with whether it's dogs or farming or all that, you know, a lot of it is out of your control. You can't just, you know, force mom into heat or, all these different things. So you do your best you can, and then uh, hope for the best. Hope that God takes care of you. So, all right. So we're gonna do last chapter, Luke 24. So, yeah, here we go. On the first day of the week, very early in the morning, the women took spices they had prepared and went to the tomb. They found the stone rolled away from the tomb, but when they entered, they did not find the body of the Lord Jesus. While they were wondering about this, suddenly two men in clothes that gleamed like lightning stood beside them. In their fright, the women bowed down with their faces to the ground. But the men said to them, "Why do you look for the living among the dead? He is not here; he is risen. Remember how he told you while he was still with you in Galilee. The Son of Man must be delivered into the hands of sinful men, be crucified, and on the third day raised again." Then they remembered his words. When they came back from the tomb, they told all these things to the 11 and to all the others. It was Mary Magdalene, Joanna, Mary, the mother of James, and the others with them who told this to the apostles. But they did not believe the women because their words seemed to them like nonsense. Peter, however, got up and ran to the tomb. Bending over, he saw the strips of linen cloth lying by themselves, and he went away, wondering to himself what had happened. Now that same day, two of them were going to a village called, uh, gosh, Emmaus. Sorry, yeah, Emmaus. I've heard that word. About 7 miles from Jerusalem. They were talking with each other about everything that had happened. As they talked and discussed these things with each other, Jesus himself came up and walked along with them, but they were kept from recognizing him. He asked them, "What are you discussing together as you walk along?" They stood still, their faces cast down. One of them said, named Cleopas, asked him, "Are you only a visitor to Jerusalem and do not know the things that have happened there in these days?" "What things?" he asked. "About Jesus of Nazareth." They replied, "He was a prophet, powerful in word and deed before God and all the people. The chief priests and the rulers handed him over to be sentenced to death, and they crucified him. But he had hoped that he was, or we had hoped that he was the one who was going to redeem Israel. And what is more, is the third day since all this took place. In addition, some of our women amazed us. They went to the tomb early this morning, but didn't find his body. They came and told us they had seen a vision of angels who said he was alive. Then some of our companions went to the tomb and found it just as the women had said, and but him they did not find or see. He said to them, "How foolish are you, and how slow of heart to believe all that the prophets have spoken. Did not the Christ have to suffer these things and then enter his glory? And beginning with Moses and all the prophets, he explained to them what was said in all the scriptures concerning himself. As uh, they approached the village to which they were going, Jesus acted as if he was going further. But they urged him strongly, "Stay with us, for it is nearly evening. The day is almost over." So he went in to stay with them. When he was at the table with them, he took bread, gave thanks, and broke it, and began to give it to them. Then their eyes were opened, and they recognized him, and he disappeared from their sight. They asked each other, "Were not our hearts burning within us while he talked with us on the road and opened the scriptures to us?" They got up, returned at once to Jerusalem. There they found the 11 and those with them assembled together and saying, "It is true, the Lord has risen and has appeared to Simon." Then the two told what had happened on the way and how Jesus was recognized by them when he broke the bread. While they were still talking about this, Jesus himself stood among them and said to them, "Peace be with you." They were startled and frightened, thinking he was a ghost. He said to them, "Why are you troubled? And why do doubts rise in your minds? Look at my hands and my feet. It is myself. Touch me and see. A ghost does not have flesh and bones, as as you see I have." When he had said this, he showed them his hands and feet. And while they still did not believe it because of joy and amazement, he asked them, "Do you have anything uh, here to eat?" Still, they gave him a piece of boiled fish, and he took it and ate it in their presence. He said to them, uh, "This is what I told you while I was still with you. Everything must be fulfilled that is written about me in the law of Moses, the prophets, and the Psalms." Then he opened their minds so they could understand the scriptures. He told them, "This is what is written: the Christ will suffer and rise from the dead on the third day, and repentance and forgiveness of sins will be preached in his name to all the nations, beginning at Jerusalem. You are witnesses of these things. I am going to send you what my Father has promised. But stay in the city until you have clothed. Stay in the city until you have been clothed with power from on high." When he had led them out of the vicinity of Bethany, he lifted up his hands and blessed them. While he was blessing them, he left them and was taken up into heaven. Then they worshipped him and returned to Jerusalem with great joy, and they continually or stayed continually at the temple praising God. Whew. I like Jesus is like I swear we get this like so wrong sometimes. Can you imagine if even Jesus said to somebody in our church now, how foolish you are and slow of heart to believe all that the prophets have spoken? You know, if you said that sentence, to somebody at church, even if Jesus said that sentence to somebody in our modern day society, I mean, still, it's not a laughing matter, but people will just start crying. I mean, who knows, like, how offensive, you know, how dare you say this about me? uh, I mean, you can't even handle the truth from God. It's unreal. Yeah. I'm not, it's not everybody, it's me too. I get it. Gosh. Sometimes he just lays it out there, and then we're always thinking, you know, the standard of Jesus is just the most nicest thing ever, like, oh, you know, don't say anything rude or, whatever. Yeah, that's something. I don't know. I know it's just like I, if you've ever like, uh, you know, had somebody close to you pass away or whatever, like, you know, family member kind of thing. Uh, like, especially like traumatically, even like Jesus here, it like it causes such like a disturbance, I think, in your reality, just like in your mind. Like I remember, I remember with my sister. I mean, completely. This is like, you know, just like completely out of nowhere. Living life one day, like, uh, you know, and then the next, like me and my family and stuff are sitting in this room around a big table thing in a funeral home. Like making arrangements for her, and like I seriously, even though I mean looking back now, I realize like it seems like ridiculous, but I seriously, sitting around that table, um, was like waiting for her to like pop out around the corner, like this was a big joke, or like it's not real. Like I was just like, come on, like waiting for her, and the time around that kind of stuff is just like it's so uh traumatic and uh yeah, just so difficult to deal with. Um and you can kind of see like Jesus's, friends and even his mom and stuff in here, like, um, like you can be told, like all these guys and ladies have been told, like, you know, he's gonna die and 3 days later he's gonna rise. I mean, they've been told this for generations. That's why he keeps talking about going back to the law of Moses and the prophets. Um, but it's still like, you know. it's such a traumatic time. Like you're in disbelief and like just like struggling to see reality and like just all this stuff that's going on, and this heartbreak. Um, you can kind of just see that, I think, in the ladies, and then in the disciples, I'm sure others, and then the two guys that were walking on the road, and then you know finally Jesus appears to the disciples and them, and they're like scared because they think it was a ghost, and it's like, I get it, like, yeah, you can know and you can wait and all that, and then it's like almost like disbelief whenever it happens, I guess. I don't know. uh yeah, I think that's where we lose so much track of what we're actually doing here, and so much track of who Jesus is actually in here, and eternity, and you know all this stuff. It's really just, yeah, it's so difficult and so interesting, and it can be hopeful if you can you know reach that point of faith, and being hopeful. But I know there's times where there's no, where you feel like there's no hope, and yeah, it's a struggle to get through. uh but yeah, so that was a long one to get through, Luke. Yeah. um with the, yeah, winter, it's just kind of miserable getting up, at 5 something, because it's so cold, and the fire's gone out, or almost by then anyway, and yeah, so I'm yeah, getting up a little bit later than usual, but gonna continue on, start through John, um and that'll be really good, and yeah, so I'm gonna get to work here, and obviously Stella down there kind of knocking on their door to go back outside. Um, she's Stella's a Cavalier, and Stella, hang on, um, and uh, yeah, I don't know, really, really special. She's almost like the mom of all the moms down here, and she, like, especially when it's really cold outside like it is right now. Um, she'll uh, wait until everybody else is inside, and then she'll go outside and do her own thing. Like, I don't want to play. I just want to go take care of business and come back in, kind of thing. But she's one of those that she loves being a mom. Like, it's yeah, it's crazy. You could just tell with her, like, she she loves being a mom. Um, Whenever it's like time for her to go to the nursery when she's pregnant, you just open up the door and she just marches right on over there, like, to the house, and starts setting up her whelping box, and I mean, she just, I don't know, she loves it. So uh, I think that's, like I said earlier, like, it's something that people don't see. Um, you know, they think because giving birth is painful that it's uh, you know, harmful, I guess. And yes, there's certainly you could certainly like push it way too far. I get that, and there's right and wrong ways to do a lot of things, and all of that for sure. But responsibly, um, for humans, for animals, dogs, like there is a uh, God created design for reproduction, and um, despite the internet experts, there's differences in different um, uh, beings. I don't know how to say. Humans, although it seems similar, to such like dogs or other mammals, the way their bodies operate have some similarities, but a lot of differences. And dogs have a lot of differences than humans as far as reproduction, um, and that's not understood um, by the general public by any means. They translate human reproduction to dog reproduction, and it's not the same. Uh, and yeah, it's not their fault. It's not people's fault. It is extreme lack of education, and then you have puppy mill type situations that are just terrible people to begin with, doing terrible things to make a little bit of money. And it's I would describe those. There's a bazillion different metaphors, but if you have a responsible small town pharmacist, that's what my grandfather did. Had a pharmacy, small town for decades. He took care of people even when they couldn't, afford to take care of themselves. And you have that, and on the opposite end of that, you have a drug dealer slinging whatever kind of other pills and all this other crap over here, illegally type thing. That's the differences that we're talking about here. So it's like no one puts this drug dealer slinging pills into the same category as this small town pharmacist. There's you know license, following the law, doing the taking care of things, taking care of his business, and all of this. No one puts those two in the same category, and that's, I mean, essentially what we're dealing with. Like, when you put the extreme should be illegal end of an industry, and you lump that in, think that it applies to everybody. Uh, I've been to puppy mills. Uh, this is and it's something to see, and uh, how that is allowed to operate, it's beyond me. I don't know. But the reason it's allowed to operate is, yes, there's a political side of it, law side, but is people don't know. They think they know, you know, um, but you know they don't know. Uh, so anyway, it's yeah. I don't know how in the world I came all around to this, but I guess simply Stella wants to go outside. So um, yeah, I'll get her out, and then she's gonna lay here with me for the rest of the day. Like, she'll go out right now, and like literally, since it's I think it was 17 degrees. Um, she's gonna be like, "No, I'm fine." Like you can you can open the door. Come on, let's go. Nope. She's just gonna lay there. Like I'm not doing that. She'll go out when she really needs to or whatever, but she'll wait until like supper time or whatever, and or even bedtime. Like it's just funny. They're all different. I got other ones that it can be negative 17, and they're super excited to go play like in the snow and stuff. So uh, yeah, we're supposed to get some more snow on Saturday. Uh, Maybe I can get some video of them outside playing in the snow because it's like you know turning a bunch of kids loose, on a snow day kind of deal. It's yeah, they get super excited. So anyway, all right. Well, you guys have a great day, and hopefully I'll be back tomorrow. All right. All right. Bye.